These are not material. These are not Lego pieces. So the scientific method relies on immaterial concepts, which is crazy. These materialists, these Lego building block fools, rely upon metaphysics like logic, mathematics, and reasoning, which all transcend the physical world. So they deny it, but they use it. Do you understand the stupid game they're playing here? And when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So when scientists evaluate evidence and they form hypotheses, they are using their mind, which they say doesn't exist. It's not real, it's an illusion. They're using their mental faculties, which they claim is an illusion, a delusion. They're not just using physical senses. So the mind, mental concepts, maths, and logic are metaphysical constructs. They're not physical things. Science points to the metaphysical, even if many material scientists fail to see it, or shall we say, refuse. So they make all these metaphysical presuppositions. They're not just taking physical data. And the existence of a scientist's mind and its capacity to understand logic and mathematical inferences, these are not observable. So they refuse. Yeah, it's refusal. So the scientific process itself contradicts the principles of materialism. So are thoughts just chemicals? Okay, so the brain and the physical body are connected to the mind in some ways, sure. But the relationship between the self, the soul, and the body is a difficult question. So next week, after I finish this particular presentation, I'll do another one going into the details here to show you the evidence against this idea. And it's actually really interesting. Modern science is starting to, shall we say, modern science has started to reinforce the Christian view. So what I want you to know is that these atheists, their ideas are being examined. They're being challenged. They're falling apart. We can trace them to paganism. This is primitive nonsense. And we can see that science is starting to show that the Christian worldview has validity. So this is not me trying to say the Bible is a science textbook. Okay, that is not the case. But we have a greater truth in terms of the metaphysics than do these idiots. I was watching an atheist recently having an open free will discussion about his belief in hard determinism. Yeah, yeah. So we will talk about that. We're going to get into hard determinism and free will as well. We're going to see where that comes from. Hint, it's a pagan idea coming from the pagans, because everything is just matter colliding into matter. Identifying the brain as the self and the mind is actually misguided. We will see that. We'll discuss neuroscience next week or the week after, whichever comes first. Now, understand our understanding of the brain is extremely limited, even for flies, especially for humans, right? So, but the idea that a thought is identical to a chemical reaction or a pattern in the brain, chemicals sloshing into each other in the brain, this doesn't make sense, and it's also been proven to be false. We cannot do a one-to-one correlation of a chemical reaction or a nervous firing, a synapse firing in the brain to thoughts happening in your mind. Oddly enough, that doesn't exist. So following the evidence to its logical conclusion is rational. Catherine M. So I didn't see Lloyd in the other channels, and if the FCC gets control of the internet, we will lose access. Oh yeah. Okay, now thoughts have the essential property of being about something. This is what is critical. I will discuss this more in a different episode. We'll talk about, but the critical property of thought is that thought can be about something. This is a bottle of water. This bottle of water cannot be about something. This bottle of water doesn't stop and think, I really want to go to Paris on a holiday. This bottle of water doesn't go, that's an interesting book lying on the desk. I'd like to read it. This thing doesn't look back and say, I'd like to learn how to play chess. Matter doesn't have thoughts, doesn't have purpose, right? Matter just decays. Thought has the critical property of being about something. We can think about things. We can encompass ideas. We can encompass purpose. That sets thought apart, and thought comes from a mind. Matter does not have this property. So to explain A, which is thought, in terms of B, a chemical reaction, both A and B need to have the respective properties, but they don't. The two are completely separate. Thought is different from what chemical reaction has thoughts about things. They don't. Understand? There's a fundamental problem here. So thoughts and chemical reactions are not the same thing. Now, let's get back into the pre-Socratic era. So I'll try and go for another few slides. So how long have I been going? Let me see. Good grief. How long have I been going? Can't tell, actually. Good grief. I'm not sure there's a counter somewhere, but I just don't know where it is. So I started at 8:30. Oh, okay, so I'll go another 10 minutes. So, so a number of early Greek philosophers, these pre-Socratic philosophers, were active before and during the time of Socrates. So they're known as pre-Socratic philosophers. Hour 15, I'll go like another 10 minutes. Their inquiries, of course, spanned the workings of the natural world, human society, ethics, religion, and so on. They started to bring order and sense to the world. But there were some idiots among them, too, right? Now, they were looking for explanations based on natural principles. Now, here, of course, your materialist differs, and he's looking for material principles only, rather than the actions of supernatural gods. So they introduced to the West the notion of the world as a cosmos, an ordered arrangement that could be understood via rational inquiry. Now, if your mind was made by irrational, random, mechanical processes, how do you know any two minds are the same, right? And how do you know that the universe is ordered if the universe is not based on laws, because the metaphysical laws don't exist? So now, the cosmos. Now, of course, this here is this book called Cosmos, okay, on and Serie Biologia. And of course, this is, what's it say here? Państwowe wydawnictwo naukowe. It's Polish. Okay. So, yeah, my Polish is terrible. Okay, so this is something called Cosmos. This is a very old theological, scientific journal. So Cosmos is a scientific journal devoted to Darwinism. It enjoyed the support of leading Darwinian biologists, including the fool called Haeckel and, of course, the psychopath called Darwin himself. So to the Stoics, now we talk about the Stoics. The Stoics, to them, the cosmos is a single pantheistic God, right? It is rational and creative and the basis of everything that exists. Now, there's some really excellent theories that I've heard about from people who are, so I would say, atheistic. They actually make a lot of sense, but they're taking from good philosophies, and then they have a hard stop. They will not take that step into going, well, God. Okay? They'll talk about everything before that step. So, now, to the Stoics, the cosmos is a single pantheistic God. It is rational, it is creative, and the basis of everything that exists. But of course, if God is in the world, God is not above the world, right? It's just another one of the pieces of creation. So the nature of the world is one of unceasing change. That's their view. It is driven by the active part or reason, the logos of God, which pervades all things. And the active substance of the world is characterized as a breath, or the pneuma, which provides form and motion to matter, and is the origin of the elements of life and human rationality. So you have the mind, and you have form, matter. Okay? Form gives us function. Form gives us purpose. The form of something gives us purpose.